No cameras were supposed to be rolling. But what happened backstage changed everything to friends Yandy and Messi, once inseparable, now tearing each other apart in front of a shocked cast. Whispers turned into war. A cheating scandal, a hidden baby, and a double life no one saw coming. This was not scripted. This was real, and when Maya walked in with the receipts, the entire room froze. Yandy's heartbreak, Messi's lies, and a truth so explosive, it could end everything. You think you've seen love and hip-hop drama? You haven't seen anything yet. Stay right here, because what you're about to witness is the realest moment in reality TV history. We have all seen the fake arguments made just for the cameras, but this time, the real chaos happened backstage, where filming was not even allowed. And according to people who were there, things got completely out of hand. Imagine this: Yandy and Messi, the people who once had each other's backs, locked in a serious fight, while the rest of the cast just stood there, shocked and speechless. But what triggered it all? Did Yandy finally reach her breaking point and try to settle the score after everything she has been through? Or is Messi once again in the middle of a scandal that has fans talking non-stop? Social media has officially exploded. As small clips and blurry backstage videos begin leaking online, fans everywhere are scrambling to piece together the full story. The hashtags are trending, comments are flying, and the timeline is on fire. Some people are saying it was all about a secret affair. Others swear Yandy uncovered something even deeper, something so damaging it could destroy someone's entire image forever. The truth, no one fully knows yet. But what everyone agrees on is this: what just went down behind the scenes of love and hip-hop is about to go down in reality TV history. This is not your average on-screen argument. This was raw, real, and completely unexpected. Backstage turned into a war zone. What started off as whispers quickly turned into yelling. Then came the shouts. People stormed out of rooms. Phones were pulled out. Cameras were turning toward places they usually were not allowed. The energy was so intense, even the cast members who live for drama were caught off guard. There were no rehearsed lines, no makeup checks, no retakes, just raw emotion. Secrets were being dragged out into the open in front of everyone's secrets that had clearly been buried for a long time. Producers were whispering. Security was on edge, and cast members were trying to figure out whether they should intervene or let it all unfold. Some people were pacing, some were filming, and others were just standing still, stunned into silence by what they were witnessing. This was more than just gossip. This was betrayal unfolding in real time, a breakdown between two women who had once stood side by side, promising to always have each other's backs. Yandy and her longtime friend, now turned rival, were in the middle of a full-blown emotional war. And it was heartbreaking to watch. What hurt the most was not just the shouting or the secrets. It was how personal it all felt. These were not just castmates having a petty fight. This was years of friendship, trust, and loyalty falling apart in front of a live audience. Viewers are now seeing just how deep the cracks were. And once the trust was broken, there was no way to glue it back together. Every word spoken, every receipt shown, hit harder than the last. And it was all caught on camera. By the time the security team finally stepped in, the damage had already been done. There was no calming things down. The cast was shaken, the producers were panicking, and the viewers, well, they are glued to their screens, waiting for more. This was not just another reality show moment. It was a major turning point, a scene that will be played, reposted, and remembered for years to come. And the worst part, it might not even be over yet, because as more footage leaks and as more cast members begin to speak out, it is becoming clear that this was not just one explosive fight. This was the spark that lit the fire. And the fallout could be massive. Friendships will be tested, reputations may be ruined. And the show itself, it might never be the same. One fan tweeted, "This feels too real. Like somebody's heart actually broke on camera." Another wrote, "I don't even know whose side I'm on. This is just sad now." And maybe that is the most shocking part of it all. What started as entertainment has now become something deeper, something messier, something real. Because when real emotions come crashing into a world built for drama, you get chaos. And right now, love and hip-hop is in complete chaos, and we are all watching it unfold, one leaked clip at a time. Now Yandy and Messi's bond is shattered. Their friendship had been on shaky ground for a while, but no one expected it to fall apart like this. Witnesses say the tension in the room was so thick, it felt like it could be cut with a knife. Things escalated fast, with wild accusations flying. and security rushing in to control the situation. The cast had to step in before it went any further. So, what really caused this storm? Let's just say some old painful truths came back at the worst possible time. Blew everything up. Most of the time, Yandy kept her cool. She smiled for the cameras and acted like everything was fine, even when things were falling apart inside. But last night, she finally reached her limit. Let's rewind for a second. Anyone who has followed Yandy and Messi's journey knows that Mendeecees has not always been loyal. He has been linked to suspicious late-night behavior, questionable friendships, and even some leaked DMs that raised a lot of eyebrows. Yandy tried to stay strong, but deep down, she was hurting. And this time, she snapped. Before the love and hip-hop taping even started, people noticed something was off. Yandy was pacing, whispering to producers, and giving Messi serious side-eye every time he walked by. And when they finally ended up in the same room, everything exploded. Messi walked in like nothing was wrong, pretending all was good. But Yandy was done pretending. She faced him head-on and told him exactly how she felt. She said she was tired of the lies, tired of being disrespected, and tired of protecting a man who clearly did not protect her at first. Messi tried to brush it off, saying she was just being dramatic. But then Yandy mentioned another woman and that changed everything. His whole vibe shifted. No one knew exactly who the woman was, but you could tell it was serious by the way he froze. Messi tried to brush it all off at first. He claimed that Yandy was just overthinking things, that she was letting outside voices poison her mind. "You're always listening to people who don't want to see us together," he said, waving his hand like it was no big deal. But this time, Yandy was not having it. She did not argue. She did not scream. Instead, she calmly pulled out her phone, opened the messages, and held it up right in front of him. That was the moment everything changed. The room fell completely. Silent. Messi froze. His confident attitude disappeared in seconds. His eyes scanned the screen, and you could see it on his face. He was caught. He opened his mouth like he was about to say something, but no words came out. Yandy just stared at him, her eyes full of pain but also full of fire. She had come prepared, and she was not backing down this time. Without raising her voice, she began reading out the messages, one by one. The flirty texts, the late-night meets, the "I miss you" notes. The kind of stuff that made the cast sit up straight like they were watching a season finale in real time. It was too much to ignore. There were gasps. Phones were pulled out, people started whispering. Even the crew in the back stopped what they were doing to listen, and then everything spiraled. Messi, instead of owning up, completely flipped the script. He stepped forward and raised his voice not to apologize, but to defend himself. "You always do this. You always try to look perfect like you've never done anything wrong," he shouted, pointing a finger at Yandy like she was the one on trial. He started digging up old fights from years ago, things that had nothing to do with the current situation. "You remember that time in Atlanta? Or when you didn't tell me about," but Yandy cut him off. "Don't try to change the subject," she said, her voice still steady but cold. "This is not about Atlanta. This is about you lying." Again, he was trying to shift the blame, to make her feel like the bad guy. But it was too late for that. The tension backstage was rising fast. People were whispering, cameras were still rolling, and cast members who were usually quick to jump in stayed back, just watching it all unfold. Erica Mena was in the corner, biting her lip. Safari had his arms crossed, just shaking his head. Carly Red, she had her phone out like always, but this time, even she looked shocked. Security slowly started moving in, just in case things got physical. You could feel the pressure in the air. It was thick, like everyone was waiting for the next blow to land, not with fists, but with words that would cut deeper. I kept talking, getting louder, angrier. "You act like you're so innocent, Yandy. Like you ain't ever done anything wrong." Yandy just stood there, letting him talk. But the more he spoke, the more foolish he sounded. Everyone could see it. He was unraveling in front of the whole cast, in front of the producers, in front of the world. His voice cracked, his hands were shaking, and the confidence he walked in with was now completely gone. Then came the moment that changed everything again. Yandy raised her voice not to fight, but to be heard clearly. "I covered for you. I lied for you. I protected your image while you were out embarrassing me." Her voice broke slightly, but she stood tall. "And you have the nerve to say I'm the problem." By now, even the producers had stepped out from behind the monitors. This was no longer a show. This was real. real betrayal, real pain, and everyone could feel it. Messi took a step back, running his hands over his face. He looked lost. He finally muttered, "It's not what it looks like." But even he knew how weak that sounded. The damage was already done. Yandy was not looking for an apology. She was not asking him to explain. She had her truth, her evidence, and her dignity. And she was done. She looked at him one last time and said, "You humiliated me. And now, the whole world sees it." Messi tried again to speak, but his voice cracked. Nothing he said could fix what had just happened. The cast stayed silent, still watching, waiting to see what she would do next. Yandy turned and walked away, leaving Messi standing there with nothing but his guilt and his excuses. The cameras kept rolling. The crew captured every second of his downfall. And backstage, it was no longer a scene, it was a reckoning. Before anyone could make sense of what was happening, chaos took over. Security rushed in as yelling turned into pushing, and the producers struggled to calm things down. It was more than just a fight, it was a full-blown disaster caught behind the scenes of a major reality show. The rest of the cast had mixed reactions. Some were shocked, some seemed entertained, and others were clearly hoping to get a bit of screen time out of the mess. Erica Mena looked like she had just witnessed something unreal. Safari was smiling in the back like he already knew the gossip. Rashida just shook her head like a disappointed aunt. And Carly read. Sis had her phone out, probably taking notes for her next messy moment. Security finally managed to separate Messi and Yandy, but by then, the damage was done. Filming had to stop, and producers were scrambling to figure out how to handle the crisis. But just when everyone thought it was over, someone dropped another bomb. A mystery cast member, whose identity is still unknown, was overheard telling producers that Messi was not just cheating, he might actually be living a double life. Yes, 2 separate lives. And from the way people were whispering, this was not just about some side chick. We do not have the full details yet, but if even part of that story is true, then Yandy and Messi's relationship might be finished for good. Fans are already reacting. One said, "She should have left him a long time ago, we've been telling her." Another wrote, "Messi is out here acting like a double agent." And the best comment, "I need a full Netflix documentary just to understand this drama." But here is the real question: what exactly did Messi do, and why did Yandy wait this long to call him out? You would think things would cool down after security stepped in, but instead, someone else came forward with news that made everything even worse. This time, it was bigger than texts or rumors. It was the kind of secret that makes people question if the entire relationship was a lie from the beginning. And remember that mystery cast member who hinted that Messi was living 2 lives? Well, it turns out, they might have been right all along. At first, people thought it was just another dramatic moment, but this time, it was different. When the truth came out backstage, everything changed fast. The news spread like wildfire, and before anyone could make sense of it, Yandy was in tears again. But this time, she was not just mad, she was heartbroken. Let's talk about what really happened. It turns out, Messi was not just cheating, he was living a whole other life. He had a serious second relationship, not just a fling. And the worst part, Yandy was the last person to find out. The other woman, let's call her Maya, had been dropping quiet hints on social media for weeks. She posted strange captions, wore jewelry that looked like Yandy's, and even uploaded pictures that appeared to be taken inside Yandy's other apartment. Yandy had her suspicions, but she had no solid proof until now. One of the love and hip-hop producers confirmed that they had known about the affair for months. But instead of warning her, they waited. They held on to the information, hoping to reveal it at the perfect moment for the cameras. That was their plan, cold and calculated. When Yandy realized this, she lost it. She screamed, pushed cameras away, and shouted at the producers, "You people are disgusting. You let me look stupid just for views." Even the cast started to feel bad. Carly, Red, who is usually the first to stir up drama, sat there silently, looking guilty. That's when you knew it had gone too far. Then something even more shocking happened. Maya herself showed up. No one saw her coming. Security tried to stop her from entering the studio, but she made a power move. She called the producers directly. Phones started ringing. Producers were whispering. And within minutes, they let her in. When Maya walked in, the energy in the room completely shifted. Yandy's heartbroken expression turned into pure rage. She jumped up, and security had to hold her back. Even Messi, who had been acting unbothered all night, looked like he had seen a ghost. Maya calmly looked Yandy in the eyes and said, "I'm sorry you had to find out like this, but you deserve the truth." Her voice was shaking. She asked one simple question: "How long?" The answer? It shattered Yandy's heart. Maya looked her in the face and said, "Since before he went to prison." The entire room froze. You could hear gasps from every corner. Even the producers, who had been planning this big reveal, looked shocked. That one sentence meant Messi had been cheating on Yandy even before he was locked up. And while she had been standing by him, visiting him, and defending him, he had been with someone else all along. Yandy fell to the ground, completely broken. She could barely breathe. Messi was still silent, unable to look her in the eyes. When he tried to speak, his voice cracked. Before he could get a full sentence out, Yandy took off her ring and threw it at him. That was the end. Even the producers realized they had crossed the line. The cameras were turned off, security rushed in, and cast members like Erica Mena, who usually live for this kind of drama, were crying. This was no longer just a reality show moment, it was real pain. As Yandy walked out, she said something that made everyone stop in their tracks. "I hope she was worth it, because you just lost the best thing you ever had." No one knew what to say. The producers were stunned, unsure of how to move forward. But the story was not done, not even close. Part 3. That is where everything takes another wild turn. Because Maya was not done talking. Everyone was still sitting in shock. Maya stood tall, knowing the truth had finally come out. The producers were sweating, realizing they had destroyed one of the biggest couples in love and hip-hop history. Just when it felt like the drama was over, Maya dropped another bomb, and this time, it shook the entire room. Yandy had already stormed out, but she came back. She needed to hear it with her own ears. She looked Maya in the face and said, "Say that again." Maya didn't blink. She said it loud and clear. "Messi has a baby and he's been hiding it from you all." Gasps filled the room. Yandy nearly passed out. Security had to hold her back as she tried to lunge at Messi. Cast members were visibly shaken. Erica Mena was in tears. Scrappy was pacing the floor, and Bambi was whispering, "This is crazy." Messi stood there, rubbing his face, completely caught. He knew it was over. Then Maya pulled out her phone and showed the receipts. And just like that, the truth could no longer be denied. He said, "I'm scared, baby." But that only made it worse. "Yand," I snapped. "You weren't scared when you lied to me. You weren't scared when you embarrassed me on national television. But now you're scared." Security had to hold her back again. She was done. And this time she meant it. She looked Maya straight in the face and said, "Keep him, he's yours now." Then she ripped off her mic, threw it on the floor, and walked out. No second chances. No more explanations. No turning back. Messi tried to follow her, but security blocked him. It was too late. He had nothing left to say because the truth was out, and the cameras caught it all. And just like that, the biggest relationship in love and hip-hop history was over. The producers got exactly what they wanted. As Yandy disappeared out the door, the credits started rolling. Fade to black. Season over. In one night, Mendeecees lost everything. From cheating whispers to secret babies. From side flings to a second life, he did it all. And Yandy, she walked away with her peace, her dignity, and her freedom. Because honestly, she deserved so much better. As for Messi, well, let's just say he better get used to being single. After this, no one will take him seriously again. But wait, is not the end? The aftermath is going to be even wilder. Social media is blowing up. Fans are shocked. Cast members are picking sides. And the producers, oh, they are already planning something even messier for next season. So here we are. Yandy gone for good. Messi exposed. And Maya, she dropped a bomb that changed everything. Now tell me, who really saw this coming? Was Yandy blind to the truth? Did Messi actually think he could hide a whole child forever? And is Maya really innocent, or did she have her own secret plan all along? Everything is over. But trust me, this drama, it is just getting started. If you love this kind of tea, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because, baby, this is not the last time things are going to get shady. Let me know in the comments, who are you riding with? And stay tuned, because the next bombshell might be even bigger.